All right, ready, set, go. All right, so what we're doing here is we're trying to clone a region of the virus DNA. The VZV DNA is a long segment of DNA that's got like 124,884 bases. It's got a 5' and it's got a 3', and it's got various genes along the way. What we want to do is we want to clone out one of these regions, and we're just going to call this WR for lack of any other reason. All right, so what we've done first is we've generated a PCR primer that would amplify this region, and we put a restriction enzyme site on both sides. And they're different so that it can be cloned directly into a plasmid at the comparable restriction enzyme sites. All right, but we've had a problem amplifying this 4 kb fragment because one reason or another. So we're going to now change that protocol, and instead of amplifying out the whole fragment in one reaction, we're going to amplify it in 2 reactions. So the first thing that we did is we're just going to enlarge this area a little bit. We got a 5' end, and we have a 3' end, and a 5' end, and a 3' end. So the first thing that we did is we kept these primers that have the restriction enzyme sites on them. And we generated 2 other primers inside of this WR region. One that would go located approximately halfway in, and the other one located approximately halfway in. All right, so you can see now that instead of amplifying the whole thing in one step, we're amplifying it in 2 steps. The first step amplifies from here to generate this fragment that has a restriction enzyme site on the 5' end, and it's double-stranded. And then the second step amplifies from here to here, and it generates a fragment that has the restriction enzyme site on the 5' end. Okay, so you can see that these overlap and have a region that is going to be homologous. So this is the first PCR. The second PCR is going to use these fragments themselves and no primers. So then when that PCR is denatured and annealed, you're going to generate a structure that's going to have a 5' restriction enzyme site on this, going to this 3' over here, and a 3' over here, going to this 5' with the restriction enzyme site here. So when this fills in, you're going to generate a fragment that goes from the 5' end to the 3' end of WR, and the 5' end to the 3' end of WR, with 2 different restriction enzymes on it, restriction enzyme sites. So this is the first PCR that you guys did, and your data is in your book, and it is right here. And so you can see that your 5' end and the 3' end, they're done in duplicate, amplified. So now the next step is you want to clean these fragments, quantitate them, mix them together in a molar ratio, and then let it amplify out. And there you go. Bye-bye.